Hello and welcome back to Season 3 of the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about discovering new music with good people. I'm Ryan, and I'm here with Jake and Benjie from the Detroit-based rock band The Aromas. How are we doing, guys?
Doing great, Ryan.
Doing fantastic, man.
We're doing
That is wonderful.
Thanks for having us on, brother.
Yeah, of course, man. It was perfect timing. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves a little bit, talk about who you are, talk about the band, the formation, anything like that?
Yeah.
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, so my name is Jake, and I play drums and guitar and vocals in The Aromas. And from Atlanta, moved up here, started The Aromas with Benjie, and we're just continuing to crank out beautiful rock music for all y'all's ears to hear.
Yeah, man. So I first moved up to Detroit about a year and a half ago with him because we both work as piano refinishers. So Jake and I, the studio where we're in right now is where all the magic happens. So on the other side of this building, we take pianos and from all across the country, and we make them look pretty, make them sound good, and we do all that. And
just make the sexiest pianos in the world.
Yes,
yeah, you got
sexy pianos. But yeah, so Jake moved here about like 3 years ago because this is his uncle's business, and he invited me to come out here about a year and a half ago, and that's when I followed through. And because we were originally making music back home in Atlanta, and
like my parents' basement.
Yeah, in the basement. Yeah, really, man.
And now you're in the back room of a piano finishing business.
Perfect. You know, moving on up.
Yes, really. Yeah, Jake and I, we've known each other since about like the 6th grade.
It's crazy. We go way back.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
We're tight.
Yeah.
Dude, I love when people are like old school homies and
Yes.
still just doing this type of shit. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, dude.
We vibe very well. Yeah, man. We went to school, middle school, high school, college together.
That was just accident, but it happened anyways.
It really was. It was an accident. Yeah, because like it was just when high school ended, it was like, all right, what are we gonna do with our lives? And so I was gonna stay local and just go to like some bumfuck community college that was close by to where I lived. With my parents, to save some money and just chillax over there. And then all of a sudden, Jake, he told me one day, he's like, hey man, I'm gonna go to the same school. It's like
my grades were so shit that I could only get into like 2 of the colleges. And I was like, it was the one that was like 5 minutes from my house, or like the one that I like kind of commuted to for like 35 minutes. I was like, I need some exotic life experience. I'm going to the 35-minute away college. And then I was like, oh shit, you're here too?
Yeah. It's like, I know you.
Just like old times.
Yeah.
Really.
You want to get some Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, many days at Quick Trip gas stations and Chick-fil-A's. That was our Friday night hangouts.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting the way that your guys' band works, because you both sing and play guitar and play drums.
Yeah.
So like, how did that come out? Were either of you a guitarist first and a drummer second, or the other way around? Or did you both just kind of dabble with all of that shit?
Yeah, I grew up playing, like I had a musical household, so I had kind of everything around me, like music wise. So just accessibility it was there. So I always had like a guitar around, but my dad got me a drum kit when I was like 7 or 8, and that was like really my first love. I was always
the drums?
Yeah, it was the drums.
Okay.
And so I would always, my grandma gave me a pair of drumsticks one Christmas, and I just banged on the couch with my headphones in like for hours and hours and hours, just like the Beatles and Green Day and all this like stuff that like a 12-year-old boy in the early 2000s would,
Honestly, that's one of the crazy things about playing the drums, though, is like compared to any other instrument, you can basically teach yourself how to play the drums without ever touching a real drum kit.
Honestly, you have so much that you can just hit. It's so natural. All you gotta do is hit something.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many things around here to hit.
It's not there's no complicated strings, nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he got fed up of me destroying the couch, and one day, for one Christmas, he gave me a drum set, and
nice.
He actually built a whole little stage in my basement in my parents' house.
Oh, that's sick.
And he put the drums on there, and that kind of gave me like the inkling of, man, I want to be on a bigger stage maybe one day, keep doing that. But I started playing guitar later, a lot more like in life, and I got pretty good at it. And then in college, Benjie and I started to jam together, and we realized that like we both love to sing and play guitar, but we also love to accompany one another and like be able to drum for another person's song, and to like just really be able to like feel anything out that the other person plays and be able to like add on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how that came to be. You both like to do both things. Yeah. And so you're like, let's just just do it.
Yeah,
Straight up. And so we were like, let's compromise, because there's a lot of bands, they have like that. There might be a guy who's the drummer who wants to like play a song every now and again because he thinks it's good as hell. And so we're like, well, instead of just like feeding one person all these songs that like you might have wrote or I might have wrote, let's just write our songs together, and then we have our songs that like you sing and the songs that I sing, and then through a lot of just a lot of shows that we've played, we've kind of been able to fine tune like the transition of switching, because you got to keep the energy alive. And so if it's done poorly, then people kind of lose their attention span.
That's one of the things that I've noticed is you guys are really good at keeping everything hype, even when you're like, switching instruments and everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we
definitely try to.
We like to keep the show going and make people like want to come next time and bring their friends.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. I mean, Jake and I, because the thing is, I love writing songs, and so does Jake. And I knew that like if I was going to be the only guitar player and singer, that I knew this was not going to work out. There was going to be it was going to be friction. It was eventually going to fizzle, and vice versa. If I was going to sit behind the drum kit, and then I would have felt dead inside. But we have found a great balance where we have a very good ebb and flow. Like it's like, hey man, I have some words to a song. I have this riff. Like, can you help me? And it's like, I got you. No worries. And it's the same way. If I come to the studio with a riff or start playing the guitar, he always has me on drums and with words too. And it's great that we don't really butt heads at all.
Yeah, it's a whole collaborative effort, and that's just come through knowing each other for so long.
Oh yeah,
and just like working our way through all of our little stupid human kinks, really ego and all this stuff. Just making sure that like the bottom line is we're having fun with it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yes, and it's great when like our mentality is, man, when a song gets made, everybody wins. It doesn't matter who's singing it, who's playing it, who's doing what. When everyone is there together and a song is finished and you're done and you're able to release it and put it out and then sing it in front of people, everyone wins, and it's a beautiful feeling. It's exciting and it's awesome. And,
I love that, man.
Yeah, man. We're a team, and it, like when someone wins on the team, that means the whole team wins.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
and like we're all eating. We don't have a famine mentality, man. We don't go hungry over here.
Hell yeah,
everyone's eating.
So you guys have a new project out. It's an EP, if I recall, right?
Yes.
So do you guys want to talk a little bit about that record and how it came to be, kind of the process of that? Whatever you feel like is relevant.
Well, we started originally with this one song from back in our days in the basement at Jake's house in Atlanta.
Basement days.
So there was this song. It was originally called "Melancholy Girl Ways," and right now it's still on Spotify. We have that one, but it was just how the story behind that one. This was our first song, pretty much, that we, I guess, wrote together.
Yeah.
We do have many, but it started out where I remember going upstairs to take a leak at Jake's house. And then I come back downstairs and Jake's on the loop pedal. He has this rhythm lined up, and he's just playing it and soloing, and like, ooh, I like this. And we're a few joints in, a few drinks in, and I remember just getting a microphone out and just start talking, singing, and putting words to the music, feeling it out. The mentality was like, I'm just trying to think of like how I'm trying to feel like, how is Jake feeling? And I'm trying to think of the mentality of like where Jake and I were both standing in at the same time. I remember we both had broken up with some like really shitty girls around the same time. Like these they were just very depressed, very negative type of girls. And at the time, so I was like, all right, this is something we both can relate to.
Yeah.
And it's like the energy that he was playing, this rhythm, like kind of made me feel like, oh man, I gotta write something and speak something about it. So I remember just, speaking and just singing some words to his rhythm, and then it eventually, it laid the foundation for this song that we have on the EP called "Name in the Sand." And I guess it's really about just like putting up with like just a depressing ass relationship.
Yeah.
Having to find each other.
someone who still needs to work on themselves before they can hang out with others.
Right. And
No, I get that.
So that was cool. So like when we came and recorded it here in Michigan, we did all the recording, by the way, for this EP at the Temper Mill in Ferndale.
Which I've actually started looking into for some future projects because of talking to you guys.
Yeah. Great setup. They have everything you need, and great people there. It was a very intimate experience. I feel like it was very like just low key, nonchalant. It was really just Jake and I and one other producer for the majority of the sessions. We did have a bass player.
We had our buddy Kai from Toad hop on bass.
Shout out.
Yep.
Shout out Kai.
Shout
What
out
up, Toad?
Kai.
Some real Toad shit.
Yeah, real Toad shit. Shout out Kai. Yeah, he kicked ass on a few songs for us, and he did a great job. And yeah, the bulk of our recording there, and we got our stuff there. So, but Name in the Sand, that was like our first one, that we kind of brought to the table. And on the EP we have Jake recording it, or Jake singing on it, because Jake will be playing guitar and rhythm to it, and play drums. And that was like our first song. Like that was like, I guess like we really had that idea like maybe like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, so it was nice to we've performed it so many times in this span of
It's got to be great seeing it come full circle.
So it's really great to seeing it like actually just like, all right, this is the final form. Nice.
Yeah.
People can enjoy this like the way it was supposed to be enjoyed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then we have a song called I Wanna Know on the EP, and
That's the first one, right?
The very first song on the EP.
That's one of my favorites.
Thank you. Yeah.
Really good.
Benji and I came with the riff of that when Benji and I had some time in New York City, and we were at Washington Square Park, and I brought the riff, and we just both collabed on the words, just like it was all so fluid. It really happened really fast. I feel like all the words we were Washington Square, the energy of New York, people all around you, kind of looking in like to your jam sesh. It was very foreign but beautiful idea, and it kind of like really whipped that. So I feel like New York just helped us get that song into fruition.
Yeah, it was really one of those songs. It's like it really came quick. It was a great easy back and forth. It's like let me just start speaking, saying something. Let me start
bouncing
singing
lines back and forth.
Yeah.
Bounce a line. Do we like this? Does it fit? Does it feel good?
And they were all great. That was the thing.
It
It was
was
like,
all
all right,
good.
sick.
Yeah,
All right, what
we'll
about
take
this?
it.
Okay, sick.
I feel like as an artist, it's really important to just put yourself in inspiring situations. And that sounds like that sort of thing where you're just like in a new place with all of this energy going on, and it just really pulls the best out of you.
Truly.
Yep,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we have let's see, Silly Meme. That's a song that we have on the EP. That it's really just about like we have so many just like little silly moments that like honestly they don't really matter that we think matter in the moment, and we just gotta like just take that half second to be like, oh god, this is kind of silly. Don't worry, it's just this is my silly self. I'm just like disregarding like the big picture, and I just find myself in a little moment.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a good song. I remember when Jake brought that one. We were living together at in this little shack, man, of a house, like
Holes in the walls.
dude.
Had to put tapestries over the ceiling to make sure the rain didn't drip down.
yeah, it was
That kind of place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
My roommate was my rat.
Yeah. We had a pet rat for a roommate. We didn't get him at PetSmart. Yeah, he found his way in.
All natural.
Yeah, all natural. But
No filter.
Yeah, he was a real Remy, a real Ratatouille. Ain't no Stuart Little.
no, Stuart Little's a bitch. couldn't
So
stay
he actually wrote the song. You were just holding the guitar. He was
Basically,
pulling the strings.
I had my hat on. He was like twisting my hair up and making me like, all shit.
it's this chord, bitch.
Wow, diminished, eh?
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we were living together. When I first moved here, we were it was Jake's uncle's, a house that he had. Like, I guess it was like kind of like a project house that he never really was like working on, or was like, or was waiting to, start working on. But he's like, hey boy, he told us, if you guys want to crash here, you could crash here. So it was like, all right, it's nice. We could save some money.
Yeah,
and
2
crash
weeks
this
turned
place.
into 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Thanks,
honestly.
Uncle Brent.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out Uncle Brent. Nah, good man. We're very thankful. But we were living in the shack, and it was like, man, there's one bedroom, and Jake had the bedroom, and I had like the living room, if you could call it that. And I was sleeping
The
on
other room.
Yeah, the other room where the kitchen was.
Literally, the only other room.
Yeah. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the place where the futon was. But man, we were there for like what? Like you were there, I was there like a year. You were there for
About 2.5.
About 2.5. And Yeah, man, it was a time. It was very.
So yeah, there was a lot of inspiration just from like the scenery around me. I feel like, and just like the mind space I was going through at the time. You know, especially living in such a small house with another individual. Just like I found that silly part of myself getting a little angry, a bit too often. So I was like, let me reflect.
Yeah.
So you were getting a bit too intimate.
Exactly. It's like he's just my homie.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, that was a time of life. We made some music there though. We had some great jams together.
Definitely.
Like we got, I think we connected, as bandmates and friends and brothers a lot there, because we were living together and,
it was the
working
smallest,
together.
little, most intimate spot. Yeah, we can't get rid of each other. We live together, we work together, we
No
make
matter
music
how
together.
much you try, you tried to go to college and he's just there.
Honestly, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to have my super bad experience. I'm going to Dartmouth. He's going to wherever. And it's like, shit, you got to Dartmouth too? Fuck.
Yeah, we both went to Dartmouth, I guess. Yeah, man. So that was that. So now we're thankful. We're living in Hazel Park now in Michigan. We got a nice little place, and
Good old Detroit.
it's great. It's a great location. It's a lot nicer. Everything, all the ceilings and the walls are put together. Nothing's falling apart. We got rid of rats.
Yes.
They're watertight for the most part.
For the most part. And that's all you can ask for.
Hey.
More than that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we only have to deal with ants now. No rats. So that's
Aunts and
that's all
uncles.
aunts and uncles. Yeah.
Family business.
Yeah.
And then my favorite song, Ghost in the Penthouse, on the EP. Benji wrote that song when he was in New York. You got to give him that story.
That one's my other favorite too.
Yeah.
It's the two New York ones are my two favorites.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Something about the city, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the New York story. So I spent a summer in New York a few years ago. I went to like a performing arts like camp.
Okay.
And so like I wanted to challenge myself creatively as an entertainer, and as a performer. I wanted to like just try something new and different. And I saw this opportunity to be a part of this performing arts camp, so I can learn acting and like on camera,
Stage
acting,
presence.
stage presence, work, like writing scripts. I wanted to do something different because I've never, I was never in drama or did plays, but I was always, I loved music, and I loved doing that, but I wanted to like just diversify my creative artistic portfolio.
Yeah,
in
that makes sense.
As an entertainer, and as a performer. So I was like, all right, this will be a cool little challenge. So I did that one summer, and I remember it was really funny. The first week I get there, it's this really like hoity-toity, like performing arts school where like there's like this full-time like year-long like school that like people go to train to become like legit actors.
Yeah.
But I'm just there to fuck around, for summer camp,
So I'm guessing that everybody else kind of has a bit of an inflated ego at this point.
Some people do. Some people didn't. Some people are really cool, but
Okay.
it's just it's the New York scene. It's just how some people are. They want to be. It's just how it was. But the first week, I just remember there were the full-time students who lived on the penthouse, the very nice suite on the, of the building, of the apartment. They were throwing this party. I didn't know about it. I was out and about doing my own thing that weekend with like the summertime, students that weekend. But I just remember the next day, like, of coming back to my apartment, like the elevator comes down and the walls open up, the elevator doors open up, and there's like these like 3-4 guys like looking at me, and like they're giving me like this like just like evil eye stare, like I had done something like just wrong, like I just like fucked their girlfriend or something, which like you're giving me that look, and
the real nasty eye.
yeah, the real nasty eye, the stink eye. And I'm like, why are these guys looking at me weird? It's like, what the hell? Like, so these boys get off this elevator and they're looking at me like, hey man, do you wouldn't happen to know anything about our trashed apartment, our penthouse suite? You wouldn't know anything about about that? And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know nothing, man. I just got here last week. It's my first weekend from New York, man. I don't know shit. I've never been up to your penthouse
How do you even
before.
spell penthouse?
Yeah, how do you spell that, man? I don't know. We're
That's on the top floor?
top floor.
Whoa.
Top
I didn't know
floor.
you could get all the way up there.
Honestly.
No, really, man. That's the high suite.
Don't you need to know the handshake?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Gotta know the passcode.
Yeah, I don't know the handshake. I don't know the passcode. I'm just some schmuck who's going to camp here. But these guys, you know, they get off the elevator. They're asking me like, "Hey, man, like, did you trash our penthouse suite? Like, because there's ketchup on the ceiling. There's beer all over the floor, and like." I'm like, man, I didn't do nothing, man. I don't even know you guys. I didn't even know there's a penthouse. Like, man, I wish I did.
There's an H.
There's an 8th floor
What?
here.
What? Are you kidding me?
Like, what the hell? So, like, I don't know. This rumor apparently spread that, like, I had trashed the suite, you know? Like, I had, like, fucked around with these guys, like, you know? Apparently, I found out, like, that there was a guy or another kid who was part of the summer program who they got footage, like, of the back of his head, you know, on camera, going up to the penthouse, you know, and, like, trashing it. He looked just like me. Like, and he was this, like, Israeli kid.
The back of your head is goddamn ambiguous, man.
Yeah, it was really funny. It was crazy. But I was like, yeah. So these guys come off the elevator and they're telling me like, hey man, we got you on camera, like going up to our suite last night.
The fuck you do?
And I'm like, what? Like, show me the tape, bitch. Like, let me see that shit. Like, let me see this thing. So yeah, they show the tape and it's only the back of a head. I'm like, this proves nothing, you bitches. This is the back of a head. This kid's
Take it to court, huh?
Yeah, this guy's skinnier than me. Doesn't even look like me. But
I'm way more jacked.
it was a really funny predicament. So like the rest of my 6 weeks there, I just had all these like every time I got in the elevator and I went to like my like acting classes, like people would give me like the dirty look, like, oh, this is the guy that like fucked up the penthouse suite the first week and like he won't own up and admit to it.
Damn.
Because I'm like, oh, what the hell?
So immediately networking out of the question.
Never had a question. You know, I only network with my summer camp friends. Yeah, which ended up working out. But
It ended up working out.
It did, honestly. Yeah, that's another
It
story.
got some out of town gigs.
It got us a Philly gig, and we'll get to that later.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so like
There's a ghost in the penthouse, and you know what? It was not me.
It was not me. It was not me. Yeah. So yeah, I remember going to Guitar Center and like buying a guitar, like I guess renting one because I ended up returning it. You know, I didn't want to like pay for it and have to bring it back home and lug it around.
That's the Atlanta influence. We hustle.
We hustle around. We know our ways. But yeah, so I grabbed a guitar and like I'm like I don't know. I was just feeling weird. Like I was feeling it's a weird feeling of being accused for something that you did not do.
Yeah.
But like everyone around you thinks you did something, but you know true in your heart like you didn't do it. So it's like I was like I had to get this out in some way. So I just remember strung along and then writing these words to like just putting this whole story together, just explaining the situation. And I remember Jake, you know, bringing it to Jake and like, you know, showing him the song and like, oh, this is cool, man. So like, that's the story of Ghost in the Penthouse. It's like, it's legit. Like it was not me. It was about me, you know, getting accused for fucking up a party that I did not go to. And I did
Those
not do.
elevator boys are giving him a stare.
They're giving me a stare. The truth is, some people, yeah.
Trying to send him home. He don't care.
I don't care. Fun with words, but also true, you know?
Yeah. Damn, that hits.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, and then the last song on the EP is called Leather Boots, and that song kind of has like a funny like story to it because so we were like in the studio and like we were finna run out like of time for the day.
Okay.
And we were like the producer Eric was like, "Oh, that's all you guys got?" We're like, and I was like,
We're like, no, we got some more. We got more songs.
Come on, boys,
just feed
hit it,
bullshit,
hit it, boys, hit it. You know.
Yeah.
And so I just and we had Kai there from Toad, and he's never jammed with us like, especially on bass.
Yeah, he's never really jammed with us before. We're like, hey man, we need a bass.
So I was like, you know, like do what I do, say what I say, make me proud. And it happened. And if you're really listening close, you can tell that there's just so much authenticity in Leather Boots. Everything was one take.
One take, spur of the moment, just like here goes nothing.
And
boys,
you know,
we're having fun.
I just felt like some ethereal spoken word was just the best. You know,
I guess that influence came from Crunbin. We like to listen to this band Crunbin a lot.
Yeah.
They're very, you know, a great instrumental piece.
This is the second
Honestly.
episode in a row that they've been brought up.
Oh,
dude, honestly, dude, Mark, Laura Lee, all those guys, they're big. We've seen them
Class
twice
act.
in person,
we
dude.
saw them at Royal Oak
It's
last
just
year.
crazy how much of a voice Mark Spears' guitar has.
Yeah.
From Crunbin, and I wanted to give a song something where like you could listen to it, and then like when you listen to the guitar, you could almost hear the words being spoken.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's very-
yeah.
whatever you think they say, it's what it says.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, Yeah, the song "Leather Boots" it's probably my favorite, song personally off the record because it just came out, like just came out naturally, and we didn't really think too hard on it. We're just having fun.
It was literally all just like, all right, we started here and we didn't fuck it up. So how can we add on to it?
Yeah, man. Jake had the great idea, just keeping it simple with the one-liner, just walk on with your leather boots.
Yeah, that's all you need.
All right.
Let your mind do the rest. It's like a Dr. Seuss book. Like it's timeless, and you can just think of it what you will. Green eggs and ham. What does that mean?
Yeah. No, really, honestly, what does that mean?
Whatever you want it to.
All right.
Enough said.
We're getting really deep and philosophical right now.
Off Dr.
I haven't even
Seuss.
smoked weed today.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the story of Leather Boots, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, what other song do we got on? I think we're missing one.
I think that's all of them.
Do we run through all of them?
We got I Want to Know. We got
Silly Me,
Name
Yeah, Leather Boots. Yeah, that's our 5.
That's it.
Yeah,
all right.
That's our 5, and we're currently recording, and we're about to give you the whole full album soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So is that going to be these 5 songs in addition to
in
another?
addition to about 5 or 6 more.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. We're fine tuning right now, writing and just kind of laying it down.
Definitely. We wanted to make sure that the people had something to get familiar with the Aromas.
It's really interesting how the release strategy for music in the modern internet age is so different from how it is from any other time.
You're right.
Because like you release an EP, you release singles or an EP or whatever, and you do that because you need to have one good song that can hook people.
Right.
And you're gonna make, videos and put that on fucking TikTok and Instagram and all that, and just try and get that so that it's just in everybody's head subliminally.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Subliminally.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you just keep adding to it until you get to the full album.
Right.
Like, I feel like almost no artists anymore just release an album straight up.
Straight up,
It's
exactly.
always a single or an EP
It's almost
or
like
something.
the hook to a high school paper, man. You got to make sure that
Yeah.
that the teacher is hooked from the first paragraph. But the teacher is all of our homies and everyone that we
exactly.
don't know in Greece and Mexico and everywhere around the world.
Do you guys have any listeners on any streaming services that are like outside the US?
Oh,
yeah. We have some Mexico. we have some Greece.
Okay.
We got a few followers. We were checking our Spotify, I guess artist account, and it's cool. It's kind of cool how I don't know how they find us, but it's like they find us. Happy accidents. You're typing in, Arctic Monkeys, but you AR, but like then you stumble into some
Aromas.
bumfuck band called the Aromas, and then you click on it
Because their album cover looks cool.
Yeah.
Well, that also brings me to like you do all of the graphic design for the singles and the artwork and things like
I
that.
did for this one.
Yeah.
I love to.
He's a magician.
I love playing around with Photoshop. I love going. One of my things, or I guess my favorite things to do is like just when I go to a concert, I like taking pictures. I like getting a good angle, a good view. But I notice, and I just everywhere I go, I like to just take pictures of what I love. What I think is cool. And what I like to do is like when I go to a show, I like to get a good picture of an artist or somebody in their natural habitat, their environment, really being themselves, and then I like to just have fun with my camera roll and just like merge things and blend pictures together and see what happens. And then after playing around for a while, sometimes you get something cool that you're like, oh, this is kind of dope. Like put this little trippy thing. But I like Photoshop. I love photography. I love film. I love, it's like everybody else.
It's a really cool art style, though. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Very unique.
Yeah.
I'd say. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I love bold colors. I love abstract, I guess
Concepts.
Yeah, concepts and photography and images and like putting things that really shouldn't be together and then trying to make them together. Make them look good. you know?
That makes sense.
But yeah. So we were having fun. The picture, I guess for the EP, like it was some photos of Jake and I at the studio when we were recording our EP, and then I blended it with some places that we like to hang out at in Detroit, just like different bars and clubs, and then I just kind of threw them together, and then that ended up being our EP cover.
It just really like if you knew us a lot, like really, you like everything has a little bit of meaning in that, and one day everyone will know us really. And
Hell yeah.
and you'll get to in due time you'll understand the whole album cover of the EP of the Aromas.
We're just a couple buddies from Atlanta, now living in Detroit, and just having
We're
fun
just,
making
we're just
music.
trying to
Good
make some
music,
noise
man.
for the people to enjoy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Very simple.
I think that this has actually been like the longest like introductory segment that I've ever had.
Oh, great, man.
I love it. I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
Right on, man. Thanks for having us again, man. I appreciate
appreciate
it.
it,
Yeah,
Ryan.
man.
Yeah.
You guys are great on camera on the podcast. It
Thank
works
you.
really
Cool.
well. So, but getting into the meat of the rest of the episode, if we're ready to do
Let's
that.
do it, man.
So
Let's start.
I got my fork and knife.
All right, man. So we're gonna just kind of go around in a circle. I'm gonna have the first choice of song, and then we're gonna go around.
Cool.
So
Beautiful.
This first artist I found on TikTok when I was just kind of scrolling through, and it's one of those things where you hear the song once or twice, and you're kind of like, okay, cool, and then like at some point you just realize that you know the hook of the song without ever really listening to the rest of the song. So I checked out the full EP, and this song is called "Roll the Dice" by Fluorescence off of their EP Sober Lullabies. This is my favorite song, and it's catchy out the gate. So
Nice.
let's check it out.
Cool.
Beautiful. Let's
All
check
right.
it out.
All
Sorry
right.
to hear.